Hello everyone. In this video we are going to show that linear functions grow by equal differences over equal intervals and that exponential functions grow by equal factors over equal intervals. So that's going to be what we're working on, linear equations and exponential equations, and see how they grow, what's the difference from one point to the other. So we are working on IXL Algebra 1, CC.8 Describe linear and exponential growth and decay. So let's get started. In the first example, we have, it says, how does h of t change over the interval from t equals 1 to t equals 4? So let me just scroll down a little. Our options are, instead of ht every time, I'm going to say the function. The function increases by 4, it increases by 1, decreases by 3, or increases by 3. That's what you need to figure out. So first thing that you can do actually is to figure out if it is increasing or decreasing from one point to the other. So right now we don't have any equation written explicitly, but we see the graph from 1 to 4 is what we have. X equals 1 is here, x equals 4 is right there. Find the corresponding points on the line. So for x equals 1 we have this point, for x equals 4 we have that point. From here to here, what is going on? Obviously it is increasing because it's going up from the first point, which is 1, to the second one, which is 4. But how many units is it going to increase? So it's increasing by 1, 2, 3. We are going to go up 3. So the answer to this question is going to be h of t increases by 3. H of t increases by 3 is the last one. Let's submit it and move on to the next question. So this is pretty much the same, but let's just do this one too, since it doesn't go one by one. So when it's on the graph, find your points. T equals 1. 1 is right here, and it says t instead of x. That's why I'm working on the x-axis. T equals 3 is right here. Go to the corresponding points on the graph, on the line. So that's my first point, and from 3, the corresponding point on the line is going to be right here. So figure out the change on the y-axis, because g of t means the y-axis, and you can figure that out even by looking at that. So figure out what's going on the vertical axis. So the difference from the first point to the second one, it's increasing because we are going up from 1 to 3 on the line. So we are going up 6 units from 3 to 9. This is right here at 3, my bad. Right here, that point is at 9. So the difference between 3 and 9 is 6, and it's increasing. So it increased by 6. Now I will do one decreasing question from -7 to -5. I'm not sure if this is decreasing though, because the linear function you see right now, that's decreasing. Like the green line is decreasing from left to right, but I don't know if that's the pattern that I have in the question. Am I going left to right? That's the question. So from -7, mark your point, that's -7. From that point to -5, right here. Find your corresponding points. This is the first one, this is the second one. Start, end. Or I don't want to confuse you with those initials. So what is going on from -7 to -5? We are going down how many units? 1, 2, 3, 4 units. So this goes down 4 units. So from -7 to -5, the function decreases by 4. The function is h of t. It decreases by 4 is going to be the answer. So let's now skip a level. Now we are done with the linears. Let's just talk about exponentials. Okay. So we have an exponential function because we have a base of 7, oops, the base is 7, exponent is t. So when we change that exponent from 3 to 5, what happens? That is the question. So let's just rewrite. When you don't have a graph, you should work with the equation you have. This is function f of t, but now the t is 3. Let's plug it in. F of 3 equals, I'm rewriting this original function, 7 to the power of t, but now the t is 3. Let's not worry about what it is. Now I want to figure out what happens if t equals 5. F of 5, I don't want to see any t's. All of the t's are going to turn into 5s now. 7 to the power of 5. So now, what is that? Is it increasing or decreasing? That is the question. From here to here, what is going on? That's an increase. The way you can figure that out is you can just divide those numbers or just type them in a calculator. 7 cubed, let's just do it. But again, you don't need these numbers. Oops. 7 to the third, 7 to the power of 5. So obviously the number is getting bigger from 343 to 16,807. So it's increasing, that's for sure. So now you can cross out this right here, that right here. Now the question is it going to increase by a factor of 7 or is it increasing by a factor of 49? What does that mean? Now, when you have an exponential, it's not going to increase by a certain number. It is going to increase by factors, which means like by multiplying. Okay, so that's what it is. If you see the word by a factor of 7, that means when you multiply the first number by 7, you should get the second one. Reading the last option, we have the function increases by a factor of 49. That tells you if you multiply the first number by 49, you will get the second number. That's what it means. So you can test it out using a calculator. You can just do this. Take the first number, multiply it by 7. Take the first number, multiply it by 49, and see what happens. The first number is 343, multiplied by 7. These two numbers are not equal. And now let's test out what happens when we multiply it by 49. We end up at the second number. So obviously this is increasing by a factor of 49 or 7 squared. But how do we find that 7 squared or 49? So what you can do, actually, you can again either use the calculator, Desmos or whatever calculator you have, or you can take your second number, which is 7 to the power of 5, and divide it by the original number. You must divide. And that would lead you to 7 squared or 49. If you use a calculator, you would get 49 immediately when you divide the second number by the first one, or you can just do one at a time, multiply the original number by 7, and then 49, and see which one is going to give you the right answer. So this one is going to be 49. Linears are easier. Exponentials are easy once you get a hold of it. But at first, these are going to be a little problematic. Okay, now let's work on this one. So the function is 10 to the power of x. We are going to rewrite it by substituting 8 for x and then 10 for x. So let's start it. So h of 8 is going to be equal 10 to the power of x is my function, but I don't want to see any x. That's 8 now. For the second one, h to the power of, I'm plugging in 10 to the power of, it was supposed to be x, but now I don't have an x, I need to plug in 10 for that. What is going on in here? It is increasing, that's for sure. 10 to the power of 8 is smaller than 10 to the power of 10. So, but all of my options are increasing. So your answer is going to look like by a factor of a number. Okay, that means when you multiply the first number you have, you gotta get the second one. That's what that means. Increasing by 20%, nope, that's not what you're looking for. Increases by 100. This answer indicates that the function is linear, but you don't have a linear function in the question. It's an exponential. It has an exponent, therefore it is an exponential function. If it says increases by a number, decreases by a number, then you gotta realize that that answer is talking about a linear function, which we don't have in this question. So now I know that my answer is either A or B. So right now you have two options. You can either get that first number, multiply it by 10, and see if you're going to get the second number, or multiply it by 100 and then see if you're going to get the purple 10 to the power of 10. I'm not going to do that because that's just a matter of typing the numbers on Desmos or whatever calculator you have. Instead, I'm going to show you the actual method that you can do. 10 to the power of 10 is my second answer. That's my final answer. I want to divide it by my original answer to see the difference, to see how I would express the increase by a factor of a number. So when you have the same base, you should subtract the exponents. That's how we deal with the exponential exponents. Keep the base the same, subtract these two. 10 minus 8 is 2. And I hope you know what 10 squared equals. If not, just use a calculator that equals to 100. So the answer would be the function increases by a factor of 100. So let's submit this. Let me do this one too because it looks a little different than the other. But again, it is the same concept. You're using substitution. You put that number in for x and then see what the answer is going to be, and then divide the numbers in the end, because we are dealing with exponential function. So let's rewrite it by doing substitution. X equals -1. F of -1 equals 1 over 6 to the power of -1. Now, if you recall properties of exponentials, when you have 1 over an exponential expression, you can just flip it and get rid of the 1 and write it at, put that number in the base, but then change this sign of the exponent, 6 to the first power, which equals to 6, but I'm going to leave it at that point right now. So let's see what happens if I do substitution. X equals 3. F of 3. 1 over 6 to the power of 3 is going to be my answer, which is 6, and then change the sign of the exponent. Now, I know the answer is not going to look like this one or that one. When I have an exponent, my answer should say it increases or decreases by a factor of a number. So this one here, let's do the division and see which one is going to be the answer. So from 6 to the first power, it goes down to 6 to the power of -3. It's decreasing, that's for sure. But is it by a factor of 6 cubed or by a factor of 6 to the power of 4? That's what we need to figure out. You can basically, let me just do the actual work, because if you just multiply the first one by those, you're not going to get the right answer. So take that second answer, again, the original answer you have, divide it by your initial answer. Again, when you have the same base, you keep the base the same, and then subtract the exponents. You should subtract these two. Put the first one down. You're subtracting, you need a negative because of the subtraction, and then put that second number down. Then figure the exponent out. That's 6 to the power of -4. It's -4 because it's decreasing, and your exponent should be 4. That means this is going to be our answer. So you can just take this and then pick that one. Oh, I didn't pick anything. Okay. Now let's skip a level. Now we have a linear function. How do I know that it is linear? Because I don't see any exponent. There's no exponent. It just says t minus 3. So if you don't have a graph, you need to do substitution. First, let's start with t equals 4. Rewrite the function h of 4 equals, now the t becomes 4 minus 3. The answer is going to be 1. Now let's do another substitution. T equals 8. H of 8, the function turns into, when I put 8 instead of t, turns into 5. So what is going on from the purple one to the blue one? From the pink one to the blue one, is it increasing or decreasing? I think it's obvious. From 1 to 5, it is increasing by 4. So that would be my answer. I don't want to see any word that says by a factor of, by a percentage. I'm not looking for those numbers. I'm looking for increase by 4. And let's say this is the last one. So that's my function, nothing exponent related. So do substitution. H of negative 10, rewrite the whole thing. It says negative t, right? So I'm putting that negative down, and then now I'm going to put the t I have. My t is negative 10, so I need another negative. And then it says minus 6. Figure that answer out. If you cannot, use a calculator, but that equals to 4. Positive 10, because of the two negatives sitting next to each other, minus 6 equals positive 4. Now do the same thing with t equals negative 7. H of negative 7 equals, rewrite the whole thing, it says negative t, so that negative comes from the function, and now my t is negative 7, so I need another negative in there. Minus 6 comes from the function. Now negative 7, that turns into positive 7. Minus 6 equals to 1. Now figure out what is going on from the first number to the second one. Is it increasing or decreasing? I guess that's decreasing by 3. That's what I'm looking for. If you see a word that says a factor of, you can just cross it out automatically. And then if you can see if it is increasing or decreasing, that would increase your chances to get the question right. But doing it by hand is the best method all the time, every time. Just to make sure, decreases by 3. Yeah. Okay, this looks pretty similar. Let me skip a level and see if the questions get any harder. Let's do this one, even though it's a decimal. I know some of you will wanna get up until 100. So same concept. Plug in that number first and then the other one. So g of 7 equals 0.3 times 7. When you multiply these two, the answer is going to be 2.1. So the second one, substitution. T equals 10. G of 10 equals, that doesn't look like a 10. I don't know what you think. Okay, 0.3 times 10. That equals to 3. Now, let me see. Okay. Let's divide 3 by 2.1. 3 divided by 2.1 is going to be, that's, okay. I cannot do that by hand. 3 divided by 2.1. Oh, wait, what am I doing? Okay, I just realized that this was not an exponential, so we are not dividing anything. So, okay, so this is linear. Once you do this, you subtract the answers. So 3 minus 2.1 equals 0.9. That's what you're looking for in the answers, but there's no 0.9. What are we gonna do? So, by the way, figure out if it is increasing or decreasing. This one is increasing, right? And then now find another number that would be equal to this. Increasing is my answer. I don't need a percentage. It's either increasing by 0.3 or increasing by this number. What is that number equal to? 0.3 times 3 equals 0.9. So that one is my answer. So this right here. Again, make sure you know if you're dealing with a linear or exponential. If it is linear, in most cases, you're not even going to need to subtract anything. You're going to see what it is. Like the questions that I did in the beginning, it'll be pretty obvious. But as you go higher, you'll need to subtract those numbers and then see which one matches. If it is exponents, then you got to divide your final number by the original number to get your factor. So that would be the answer to this question. I guess that's all, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope this video helped you out with the assignment. Let me know if you have any questions.